Good morning, dear brothers and sisters. Today, let's embark on a journey through Numbers chapter 14. This is an extension of the chapter 13 which we have seen yesterday. This is a chapter filled with profound lessons about faith, courage, and the consequences of choosing fear over trust in God. As we explore these verses, may our hearts be stirred to choose faith even in the face of challenges. As we open our Bibles to Numbers chapter 14, we find the Israelites at a critical juncture in their journey. The spies have explored the promised land, and Caleb and Joshua, fueled by faith, bring back a positive report, emphasizing the goodness of the land and the faithfulness of God. However, the majority of the spies, succumbing to fear, spread a negative report emphasizing the challenges and the perceived impossibility of conquering the land. The people, influenced by this fear-driven narrative, respond with weeping and grumbling. In the midst of the despair, they long to return to Egypt, a place of familiarity even if it means returning to bondage. The lesson is immediate. Fear has the power to cloud our vision and distort our perspective. It can lead us to yearn for the past, even if that past is marked by hardship. The Israelites, in their fear, lose sight of God's promises and His ability to lead them into a future filled with His goodness. Now, let's jump into the verses 6 to 10, where Joshua and Caleb, in an act of courage, tear their clothes and address the assembly. They implore the people not to rebel against the Lord, emphasizing that the land is an exceedingly good land and that God is with them. Their message is clear: trust in God's promises, for He is faithful. The lesson here is profound. Even in the face of overwhelming negativity, there are those who choose faith. Joshua and Caleb stand as beacons of courage, challenging the prevailing atmosphere of fear. Their actions remind us that in times of uncertainty, we can choose faith over fear, trusting in the goodness and faithfulness of our God. As we move forward to verses 20 to 23, we witness God's response to the rebellion of the people. Despite the faithfulness of Joshua and Caleb, the majority's lack of trust leads to consequences. God declares that none of the generation that witnessed His miraculous works in Egypt will enter the promised land except for Joshua and Caleb. The lesson is heavy. There are consequences to choosing fear over faith. The Israelites, in their rebellion, faced the sobering reality that they will not experience the fullness of God's promise. It's a reminder for us today that our choices matter, and when we allow fear to guide us, we may miss out on the abundant life God has prepared for us. Now, let's explore verses 26 to 30, where God declares that the next generation, the children of the Israelites, will enter the promised land. This is a testament to God's mercy and His commitment to fulfilling His promises. Despite the faithlessness of one generation, God remains faithful to His covenant. The lesson is hopeful. God's faithfulness transcends our failures. Even when we falter, God's plans are not thwarted. He provides opportunities for new beginnings and invites us to trust Him. Regardless of our past shortcomings, God is always there with His covenant. As we conclude our reflections on Numbers chapter 14, let's meditate on the following lessons. The first one is the power of fear. Fear has the potential to distort our perspective and lead us away from God's promises. To keep in mind that fear has nothing to do with what God has promised us. Fear is just a reflection of ourselves. Fear is just a reflection of our faith. How strong our faith is. If our faith is not strong, then there comes the fear. So we should always have strong faith in God's promises. Second one is choosing faith. Although it is the same thing, if you choose faith, you won't fear. If you fear, you will not be able to choose faith. Even in the face of negativity, we have to choose faith, trusting in the goodness and faithfulness of our God, with our wholehearted attempt to keep our faith going in God is the only thing that we need to do. Third one is consequences of fear. There will be consequences of fear. Mark this sentence, that there will be consequences if you choose to fear. Okay, if you choose to fear, that means you are not accepting that God can do this. Choosing fear, you are ignoring that God is capable of doing these promises, doing this covenant, making this covenant come true. So, if you choose faith, there will be consequences for it. But God's mercy provides opportunities for new beginnings. So that we have seen that God is telling that He'll allow the next generation to go into the promised land. So that is where His mercy coming into picture. In the New Testament, Jesus often encourages His followers with these words: "Do not be afraid, only believe." It was told in Mark 5:36. May these words resonate in our hearts as we navigate the challenges of life. Do not be afraid, only believe. May the God of courage and faith guide you on your journey, and may your hearts be anchored in His unwavering promises. Thank you for listening. May God bless you all in abundance.